It's that time again, and it's pouring with rain. 6 o'clock in the morning, lashing with rain all night long. What is happening to the weather? Apparently today it's going to be sunny. At the moment, 19°C, which is 66 Fahrenheit, 95% humidity, well it should be 195%, 10-12 millibars, and the flag, as usual, a bit of a breeze from the west. So I'm hoping the forecast, just for a change, just for once, please be right, and today will be sunny. Now there's a slight contradiction going on here. I've had an email from the Met Office. Thunderstorms to hit UK after coolest summer since 2015. Is it going to be sunny, as they have said, or are we going to be hit with thunderstorms? The weather forecast people would make good politicians, wouldn't they? All they do is lie. Mary, lovely to hear from you from North Dakota. 62 degrees Fahrenheit where you are. I don't know what that is in centigrade. I'll have to work that out back to front. Mary was saying that she likes the old stories. Her dad apparently used to tell her stories about the good old days. I think that's what it's all about, isn't it? Talking about the past. And of course you can't do that until you're really old like me. The distant past, that is. Anyone can talk about last week, I suppose, but not the 50s and the 60s in the good old days. Mary says, was there a library at my school? There was, indeed. And she says, did any of your schoolmates get up to mischief in the library? There's a good word, mischief. That's not used a lot these days, is it? We must try and bring back some of these words that aren't used so much these days. That would be nice. I'll have to make that my mission. We weren't allowed in the library. In break time, we were supposed to be out in the playground. But what kids used to do, including me, we'd go and sit in the library, especially if the weather wasn't very nice. In the winter, for example, who wants to go and stand outside in midwinter? So we go into the library, grab a book off the shelf and sit at one of the tables. Of course, one of the teachers would come in. Out of here, you boys. Come on, you're not allowed in here. So we'd look up. I'd look up from my book, for example. Oh, sorry, sir, I was just checking up on trigonometry. The maths teacher was mentioning something, blah, blah, blah. Oh, OK, let me see the book. And show him the book. Oh, trigonometry. All right, yeah, fair enough, stay there. And of course, the other boys, we'd be studying something, studiously studying in our break time, doing schoolwork in our break time. And of course, teachers were impressed with that. But there's always a but, isn't there? There was one teacher who was not at all impressed at a certain book one of the boys was reading. There was a notice board on the wall. It had new additions to the library and suggested reading. And someone had written on this notice board a certain book. So this chap, he's reading this book in the library. In came the teacher. Out of here, you lot, usual old thing. Out of here, come on, it's sunshine, you shouldn't be in the library. And this lad put his hand up. Sorry, sir, I was just reading the latest addition to the library. It's on the suggested reading list. So the teacher went over and had a look at it. Now then, here's the thing. Lady Chatterley's Lover, published 1960 by D.H. Lawrence. The teacher went ballistic. That is not on the suggested reading list. And the boy said, but look on the wall, sir, it's on the suggested reading list. It's a new book. The teacher went and had a look and went ballistic again. Who wrote that on there? He crossed it off. He snatched the book from this boy. And the boy was very good. He was a good actor. He wasn't a friend of mine, but I knew of him. And he was saying, I'm terribly sorry, sir, but it's on the suggested reading list. I must admit, I thought it rather odd that we should have to read Lady Chatterley's Lover. And of course, he's going on like this, and the teacher was fuming. And the rest of us were sitting at our tables, sniggering, because the whole thing was just hilarious. It's a boys' school. And of course, once Lady Chatterley came out in 1960, apparently it was first published in 1928. Was it Italy? And then a year later in France. But it was 1960 it was published in Britain. And of course it was going around the playground. I don't know where people got the copies from of the book. Perhaps they borrowed it from their parents or, I don't know, older brothers or something. But there were several copies going around the playground. Lady Chatterley's Lover. That was hilarious. Looking back, I mean, perhaps it was a bit naughty, but come on, boys will be boys. Being somewhat of a nerd into radios and things, the only book I was really interested in was called The Boy Electrician. And that was about televisions, radios, all sorts of things, telephones, how they worked. And of course, at that age, what was I, 13, 14, I was really into that. I did eventually get that book for Christmas, but I was in the library a lot of the time looking at that book. And I have to admit, I did have a quick look through Ladies' Chat. Lady Chatterley, let's move on from that. I'm going to dig myself a hole I won't be able to get out of. We all had a quick look, obviously. Brent, over there in the US of A, nice to hear from you. Brent says, I have no idea what a bank holiday is. I believe it's a British thing. The banks close on a certain day every, certain times of the year. Could be for any reason. It could be to celebrate something or whatever. And when the banks close, we call it a bank holiday. The banks close, so everything else closes. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but that's roughly what goes on. So the banks close, everyone closes. It's rather odd when you think about it. I think that's how it started anyway. I don't know about these days. We call it a bank holiday. You might as well call it an egg and chips holiday, to be honest. The bank bit doesn't mean anything. Basically, a bank holiday or an egg and chips holiday means everyone has a day off. But there again, not everyone does, because the trains are running, the buses are running, the power stations are running, everything's still running, hospitals, everything. People still have to go to work. Brent also likes some of the sayings I use. I'll have your guts for garters. I don't know where that came from. And what was the other one he mentioned? Bless their cotton socks. That's a very old one. Oh, bless her cotton socks. Change of subject. Do you remember a week or two ago I was talking about looking in old Granny's pantry in her larder, and there'd be jars of pickles and preserves, chutney, all sorts of stuff she'd made throughout the summer, perhaps depending on what fruit was available when. Well, Tricia has just made some green tomato chutney. She's made a huge, it's like a cauldron. Our kitchen looks like a witch's. No, it doesn't. It's a huge, I think it's a jam making pot, and it's full, or it was, full of green tomato chutney. Fantastic. I've just had a cheese sandwich with some of this chutney on it, and it is amazing. It's wonderful. All this chutney you buy from the shops, it's disgusting. No, it's not disgusting. Some of it's quite nice, but once again, going back to processed foods and chemicals and things, you just don't know what's in it. Whereas stuff made at home, you know exactly what's gone into it, and it's amazing. And it's healthy, of course. The reason she made green tomato chutney, we got some huge beef eater tomatoes, massive things. They look like melons. A lot of them have turned red, they've ripened, but there are a lot of big ones there that haven't ripened at all. Well, they're huge, and they're green. So we thought, that's it, we'll stick that lot in the jam making pot and have some chutney. I used to make jam and marmalade. That's why we've got two huge pots. What put me off making them was the amount of sugar you put in there. You know, you look at the recipe to make a Seville type marmalade, lovely. We got the proper oranges, Seville oranges, and then it'll say add this and add that, and then add 25 bags of sugar. Well, not quite 25, but it was a huge, you're pouring in bag after bag of sugar. Although the marmalade was lovely, it tasted wonderful. Every time I took a bite of the sandwich, I'm thinking of all the sugar in there. So I stopped making that. Mind you, there's less sugar in the ones that I made, in the marmalade I made, than there is that the ones you buy from the shop. I saw on some marmalade from a shop somewhere ages ago, 20 so-and-so% fruit or whatever. I thought, hang on a minute, there's hardly any fruit in there. It's all sugar and other stuff. It's meant to be all fruit, isn't it, with a bit of sugar as well? I don't know. Do try and make your own stuff at home if you can, because then you know exactly what's in it. I had to edit the audio a little bit earlier when I said buying something from the shops was disgusting. I'd used another word and I played it back and I thought, well, I can't say that. Struth, can't say that. So I took that word out and I said it was disgusting instead. Thanks for all your emails, rants@protonmail.com. Great to hear from you all. I'm still answering some. I've got a list here to answer. I'm getting through them slowly. I do apologise for the delay with some of them. The weather today, it's actually cleared up and we've had some nice sunshine, but now we've got clouds coming over. Oh, and tomorrow, apparently now, massive thunderstorms tomorrow and rain and lightning and disastrous things going on tomorrow, according to the Met Office. So it will probably be a lovely day. I hope so, because only an hour ago We were saying let's go to Amberley Museum tomorrow and possibly Pulborough Brooks. We've only been there once. We joined up. We've been there once and that was it. We haven't been to Amberley for weeks. And now they're saying torrential rain and thunder and lightning all day tomorrow. So we shall see. I hope the weather's nice where you are because I know a lot of you listen to the podcast episodes when you're out walking your dog or walking in the woods. Some of you walk along the beach wherever you are. So I hope it's nice. Right, I've rambled enough. I think that's it. I've got a whole list of notes here. Look, it says all sorts of things. I don't know what it says. I can't understand. I seem to have my own form of shorthand, which is really good, if you understand it, which I don't. I seem to write these words in shorthand, and then I haven't got a clue what it means. It says here, LCL 1960 DH Lark or something. What does that mean? I have no idea at all what that... Old words. Oh yeah, that was just, as I was saying earlier, let's revive some old words, shall we? Words that aren't used anymore. Have a think of a few and let me know. Raise rants at protonmail.com or sayings. How about... No, we can't go into Cockney rhyming slang now, can we? Stick that in your skyrocket pocket. Apples and pears, stairs. Whistle and flute, suit. No, we'll do all that another time. Take care, be good, be bad, don't get caught, and I shall see you on Sunday. Bye-bye for now.